Hi, I'm Dr. Rachel Horrocks-Birss, and today we'll be talking about literature reviews. In this final video, we'll introduce you to the TEA paragraph format and discuss several example paragraphs. The TEA paragraph format is a valuable tool for any kind of academic writing at any level. It consists of three parts. First is the topic sentence. This is a single sentence at the start, outlining the main idea of your paragraph. This sentence lets the reader know what the paragraph will be about, and may also make a claim that the rest of the paragraph will discuss. Secondly, you'll provide several evidence sentences backing up your topic. Here, you'll refer to all the research you've done, whether that's academic books or articles, or other sources such as websites or policy papers. Finally, your paragraph needs some analysis. This is usually one or more sentences at the end, where you bring everything together, analyze the evidence, and explain why it's significant. This section should answer the so what question. Why does this matter? Why should your reader care? It's worth saying that the evidence and analysis can get a little mixed up sometimes, and that's okay. If your paragraph looks more like TEA, EA, EA, that's fine. As long as you start with a topic and end with analysis, it's all good. Let's read example 1. As I read it out, think about what it does well and what could be improved. Example 1. O'Nearin, 2022, says that, quote, personal branding was formerly defined by physical media such as business cards and posters, or by static websites and blogs, but it now almost entirely takes place on social media, end quote. Most people think now that social media is the best place for personal branding. Moulin, 2022, writes about how TikTok can be used effectively for personal branding, like by posting videos regularly with your face, and also by using popular audio and finding new followers that way. I agree this would be the best way of finding customers, as most people nowadays are on social media and don't look at posters or look for websites. The first thing to note here is that the topic sentence seems to be a quote from someone else. This isn't always a bad idea, and the quote is good, but it's generally best to have the topic sentence be your own words. After all, if the topic sentence is the summary of your paragraph, you should probably write it yourself. Secondly, there really isn't much evidence in this paragraph. There are only two sources, which isn't enough to make the big claims at the end. Finally, the analysis at the end is quite weak. The author has used I, which is generally inappropriate for an academic essay, and they've made a really big point about using social media for personal branding. But because there isn't enough evidence, this comes across as their personal opinion rather than the truth. Also, their analysis is all focused on the topic itself rather than the literature. Essentially, this isn't a bad paragraph, but I think we can do better. Let's look at example 2. Here's our second example. As we read, see if you can notice ways that this is better than example 1, as well as ways it can still be improved. Example 2. Researchers have also written about branding and social media. O'Nearin, 2022, talks about how branding used to be focused on physical objects, like posters or business cards, or on static websites or blogs. But now branding is all about social media. Branding on social media can take place on several websites, like TikTok, Moulin, 2022. Some people still think that physical objects are a good way to try personal branding, and they recommend that all small businesses put up posters and try to print business cards, Acri, 2023. Most people disagree though, and they say that the best thing is to use social media instead, O'Nearin, 2022. In this example, we do have a clear topic sentence. Researchers have also written about branding and social media. This is better than a quote, but it's still not ideal, as it's quite vague. It would be better for the topic sentence to be more specific and give the readers some new information. In terms of evidence, though, this paragraph is somewhat better. We've got one more source, the Acri article, and the O'Nearan article at the beginning is now a paraphrase rather than a direct quote. That said, the use of evidence is still a little clumsy. For example, the Moulin article doesn't add much to the argument. It just says that people can use TikTok for personal branding, which is kind of obvious. More seriously, the Acme article disagrees with the others, but we don't know why it disagrees or why the author has chosen to agree with O'Nearan instead. The biggest issue with this paragraph is that there is no analysis. After the topic sentence, all the other sentences have citations at the end. This means they're evidence sentences. There's no analysis here, so nothing to bring the ideas together. Nothing to answer that "so what" question. As things stand, the paragraph gives us some information, but we don't know how it all fits together. Let's read our final example. This paragraph is definitely better than the other two, but there's still room for improvement, so listen critically as I read. Example 3. Since the coronavirus pandemic, the literature on personal branding has shifted to focus more on social media rather than on physical objects or static websites. O'Nearan 2022 outlines this shift, while other critics have chosen to focus on the impact of a single platform, such as Facebook, Gainsborough 2021, Instagram, Livingston 2022, and TikTok, Moulin 2022. Although several branding experts still recommend using physical posters or business cards for highly localized businesses, Acri 2023, Brown 2021, social media is seen as far more effective for any business that primarily trades online, Davis 2022. Similarly, while static websites and blogs were once seen as a necessity for personal branding, White 2015, researchers have noticed a sharp decline in engagement with these sites since the pandemic, Merida 2021. Thus, for the majority of business owners, researchers agree that social media will be the most relevant platform for personal branding. In this example, the topic sentence is much better than in the last version. Here, it makes a clear, specific claim about how the literature has changed over a period of time. This sentence makes an interesting claim that the rest of the paragraph will back up. In terms of evidence, too, this paragraph has improved. There are now 9 sources, which actually might be too many for this short paragraph. More importantly, though, the author now explains that the various articles are actually talking about slightly different things, local businesses versus online ones, which explains some of the disagreement. At the end, then, we get a nice, clear analysis sentence that answers the "so what" question and brings it all together. The analysis is probably a bit too short, but it builds on all the evidence, so its conclusions are justified. In all 3 ways, then, this paragraph has improved on the previous 2 examples. Of course, that doesn't mean it's perfect. For a short paragraph, it's trying to do too much, which means that the ideas aren't as fully explained as they could be. To make it better, I'd suggest expanding it to add more analysis, or perhaps splitting it into several paragraphs and expanding those. Still, even though it could be better, it's still quite a good paragraph for a literature review. As we wrap up, I want to highlight 3 top tips. First, use your topic sentence to make a claim. Your topic sentence should introduce the paragraph, but also say something important and meaningful. Second, make sure your paragraph uses lots of evidence to back up your point. This is particularly important in a literature review, where the evidence is the main point. Finally, conclude your paragraphs with analysis, bringing everything together and explaining why it matters. In this video, we've discussed the TEA structure and examined 3 example paragraphs. After these 5 videos, we hope you now feel more confident and ready to begin work on your literature review. Good luck!